was a moment there where I really thought it was going to mess up.
In a little bit. Here's the planet Earth. Okay? And here's the entire universe. And here we are living on this thing like so many fleas on a tennis ball. You know, just imagine if you were a little microorganism living on a basketball. Basically, that's what you are. You know, and sometimes it dribbles and sometimes it's bounced and whatever. But in the midst of all of this are all of these things impacting here. But not just in a wild, willy-nilly way. The impact that's coming upon the earth is a very lawful and structured and planned out positive way of making life occur. And we'll look into this as we go through the thing. But the point is, you can't just simply live on this tennis ball, this basketball, and not be aware that there are things that are impacting the way that you and I think. All right? That's the problem. As far as religion is concerned, none of this exists. It doesn't exist. All of the planets, all of the galaxies, all of the stars are just junk up there for whatever reason. It doesn't exist. And so they say everything exists in a church somewhere, you know, and nothing exists out here. But way off here somewhere, there's some guy named God who's planning a nuclear war, and he's going to call it Armageddon, and we got to do something about it, which is impossible. So realizing that there is an intelligence that has defined a way, and that you have within yourself the capability to pick up this instruction and then roll with it for the good of the earth, for the good of humanity, for the good of the cosmos. I want to talk to you this morning about something called Zohar. Zohar is a book of Jewish mysticism. It is thousands of years old. A part of the Zohar is called Kabbalah. All right. Zohar is not a part of Kabbalah. Kabbalah is part of Zohar. All right. It's like the Bible would be Zohar, and a chapter in the Bible would be Kabbalah. There's a lot of people, you're very familiar with the word Kabbalah, but you're not familiar with that word Zohar. The Zohar is a mystical reference of Kabbalah. It is Jewish mysticism, and basically what it says is there is no such thing as chance. There is nothing that is chance. Everything is defined, everything is purpose, and it applies to the possibilities of you then bringing yourself into a communion, if you would, or a touch with this particular thing that's going on, which we could call cosmology. So let's take a look then at this thing as it was set up in the Bible, as it was set up in the ancient documents, and as it is interpreted by the ancient Jewish rabbi mystics through what is called Zohar. Remember, in Jewish terms, the mystics were Kabbalah, or as you would define today in Christian terms, mysticism. You would define in Muslim terms that which is Sufism. It is looking beyond the word for something that is important to life and has a relevance to life. Open to page 115 in those little Bibles, okay? And we'll start to look at what Zohar is talking about and what is the basis of life and the basis of your understanding, you know, positively where you're going in this life and what's going to happen. If you look at Numbers chapter 2, verse 2, okay, it's talking about setting up the armies and the tribes of Israel in a very defined pattern. Every man, you see this, chapter 2, verse 2, every man of the children of Israel shall pitch by his own standard with the ensign of their father's house.
I also recently watched Dragons, Monsters, and Men, which dives into the mind and self-improvement of men. I really wanted to rewatch it with Kaimani, our 14-year-old son, because I found it so profound in determining exactly what it is that each of us has to offer the world as individuals. The cool thing...
Okay. With the ensign of their father's house, far off about the tabernacle of the congregation. The tabernacle, look just for a second. The tabernacle was placed right here. And then in the north, south, east, and west, these tribes would line up in a very distinct position, astrological position and compass point position, by the standard, which is the flag, and the ensign, which is the actual flag of their father's house. In other words, each of the tribes would pitch with a sign of his own. And there was a reason, while some were positioned in the north, some were positioned in the south, some were positioned in the east, and some were positioned in the west. There is a reason that impacts the world, that impacts you. I mean, there is a reason why the Jews and the Palestinians are signing agreements. There's a reason because of the Soviet Union and the fall of communism.